Hello, my friend. Welcome to Dreamcaster Sleep Stories. My name is Timothy, and it's a gentle pleasure to be here with you as you settle into rest tonight. This isn't really a story in the usual sense. It's more of a quiet journey, a soft place to land at the end of the day. Tonight's tale is designed to be slow, safe, and comforting. Something you can listen to without effort, letting the words drift around you as sleep comes naturally. There's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to follow closely. Just allow yourself to relax and be carried. In a moment, we'll begin with a short relaxation, gently easing you out of the day and into the night. And then, when you're ready, the dream will unfold. Before we begin, there's nothing you need to do right now. No effort to make. No focus to hold. No need to listen perfectly. You're welcome to let the sound of my voice simply rest in the background, like a familiar presence in the room, quiet, steady, and kind. If your eyes are open, they can close whenever they're ready. If they're already closed, you don't need to change anything at all. Just notice where you are. Notice the surface beneath you, the bed, the couch, the floor, or whatever is supporting you tonight. You don't need to analyze it. Just feel that it's there, steady, reliable, holding you without effort. And beneath that support, there is more. The room around you, the building you're in, the ground beneath it, and beneath all of that, the earth itself, quiet, solid, constant. Nothing to prove, nothing to earn, just support all the way down. As you rest here, you may notice your breathing. There's no need to change it, no need to deepen it. Just let it move naturally, in its own rhythm, in and out, each breath gently reminding your body that it's safe to slow down. If thoughts arrive, that's perfectly okay. Thoughts are simply something the mind does, like waves on water. You don't need to stop them. You don't need to follow them. You can let them drift past, one by one, softly, without holding on. If any part of your body feels tight, or tired, or heavy, you don't need to fix it. Just notice it and allow it to soften a little, as much as it's willing to tonight. Your shoulders can rest, your jaw can loosen, your face can smooth, even the muscles around your eyes can let go. There is nowhere you need to be now, nothing waiting for you in this moment. The day has done all it needs to do, and whatever tomorrow brings can wait. Right now, this time belongs to rest, to stillness, to quiet. As my voice continues, you may find that you listen less closely. That's a good sign. It means your mind is beginning to settle, finding its way towards sleep, all on its own. You don't need to follow every word. You don't need to imagine clearly. You can drift. You can wander. You can rest. And as the story slowly unfolds, it will carry you gently, without effort, into a place where the night feels calm and the world feels far away. You're safe here, you're supported here, and whenever you're ready, without any announcement or signal, the story will simply begin. Before anything else, allow yourself to slow down. There is nowhere you need to be after this moment. Nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to solve. Tonight, this story is not something you must follow closely. It is something you can simply rest inside. If your mind drifts, that's perfect. If sleep comes early, that's even better. The island will still be here. Now imagine this. Somewhere beyond the usual edges of the world. Beyond busy coastlines, beyond shipping lanes and satellite maps. There is an ocean that looks ordinary at first. Blue, white, endless. But this ocean holds a secret. It does not reveal everything to everyone. Sailors have crossed it for centuries without noticing anything unusual. Planes pass over it every day. Storms move across it. Tides rise and fall. And yet, there is an island there. An island that does not appear when you are alert. An island that does not appear when you are searching. It appears only when you are tired enough. Not physically exhausted, but deeply, quietly tired. The kind of tiredness that settles behind the eyes. The kind that softens your thoughts and loosens your grip on the day. Tonight, that kind of tiredness has found you. You don't remember how long you've been at sea. Only that the water around you is calm, smoother than glass, gently reflecting the sky like a mirror that breathes. Your boat is small and simple, rocking slowly, safely. It does not rush. It does not drift off course. The air is warm but light, carrying the faint scent of salt and something sweeter, like distant flowers warmed by the sun. Above you, the sky is painted in deep blues and soft purples, the colors of a day that has decided not to hurry into night. You breathe in, and for the first time in a while, your breath feels unforced. With each slow rise and fall of the water, your body becomes heavier, calmer. Your shoulders loosen, your jaw softens, your thoughts begin to stretch out, creating more space between them. That's when you notice it. At first, it looks like a trick of the light, a shimmer at the edge of the horizon, a subtle change in the way the ocean reflects the sky. You blink slowly, and there it is again, a shape, low, white, unmoving. The island does not rise dramatically from the sea. It does not announce itself, simply waits, as if it has been there all along, patiently invisible. The closer you drift, the clearer it becomes. Soft green hills roll gently toward a pale shoreline. Tall trees sway lazily, their leaves catching the light like they're breathing in time with the ocean. The sand along the shore glows faintly, not bright, not white, but warm, like it remembers sunlight even after the sun has dipped low. There are no docks, no buildings visible from here, no signs, and yet, the island feels welcoming. As your boat glides closer, it slows on its own, nudging the sand with a gentle hush. You step out without effort, your feet sinking slightly into the warm shore. The sand is soft and cool beneath the surface, comforting, supportive. When you look back, the boat is already drifting away, calmly, without urgency, as if it knows you won't need it again tonight. The island has a way of taking care of details. A narrow path reveals itself ahead, winding upward between tall grasses that glow softly in the fading light. Each step you take feels lighter than the last, as though the island is easing weight from you. Not physically, but quietly, invisibly. With every breath, you feel more here, and less elsewhere. Sounds begin to change. The ocean's rhythm fades into the background, replaced by something gentler. The whisper of leaves, the low hum of insects settling in for the night, the distant echo of waves touching hidden coves. Nothing is loud. Nothing competes. The path leads you higher, offering glimpses of the shoreline below. The sea now looks smoother, calmer, as if it too is beginning to rest. As you walk, you notice something else. There is no wind here. The air moves just enough to be noticed, never enough to disturb. Time feels different, not slower, not faster, just less important. You reach a clearing near the top of a gentle hill. From here, you can see much of the island. Rolling green, clusters of trees, quiet inlets where water glows faintly with reflected starlight. There is a sense of balance here. Nothing crowded, nothing empty. In the center of the clearing stands a low structure. Simple, rounded, built of pale stone and wood that looks smoothed by years of sun and rain. It isn't large. It doesn't need to be. A soft golden light spills from its windows, steady and calm. You realize something then. The island did not appear because you were looking for it. It appeared because you were ready. Ready to stop holding the day together. Ready to let your thoughts loosen. Ready to rest without effort. As you approach the doorway, the light inside deepens slightly. Not brighter, just warmer. Inviting. The door opens before you touch it. Inside, the air is cool and comforting. A gentle glow fills the room, and the sound of the outside world softens instantly, as if the island itself is drawing a curtain around you. This place knows why you're here, and this is only the beginning. Inside the stone and wood structure, the light seems to gather around you gently, settling onto surfaces without glare. It feels less like illumination and more like warmth made visible. The walls curve softly, without sharp corners, guiding the eyes in slow arcs that feel comforting to follow. There is a small table near the center of the room, carved from a single piece of pale driftwood. Its surface is smooth, as if countless quiet evenings have polished it. On the table sits a single clay cup. Steam curls upward in slow spirals, carrying a subtle fragrance that stirs a sense of recognition without demanding attention. It smells faintly of citrus, honey, and something herbal, a scent that suggests calm rather than insists on it. There is no sign telling you to drink, no expectation, no urgency, yet your hand moves naturally, wrapping around the warm cup. The heat travels up through your fingers into your palm, spreading slowly up your arm in a way that makes your shoulders drop just a little lower. You inhale, sip, and feel a quiet unraveling take place beneath your ribs. Not sleepiness exactly, just an easing, a softening. You set the cup down, and only then do you notice the room has changed slightly. A long window now lines one side of the structure, framing the outside world like a painting in motion. The island is darker now. The sky has transitioned into deep blue velvet, dotted with the earliest stars. The treetops sway with tiny golden specks between their branches. Small fireflies drifting lazily with no pattern to follow and no reason to hurry. Beyond them, a faint glow traces the outline of the island's shoreline, as if the ocean has learned how to carry moonlight beneath its surface and release it only where land begins. The effect is soft, surreal, and quietly mesmerizing. When you exhale, the window shifts again, not like a curtain being drawn, but like the world itself adjusting, making sure you see what it wants you to see next. Now, the window shows a different part of the island, a long pathway descending into a cluster of tall, narrow trees. Their trunks shimmer with faint iridescence, as though they are storing light from the day and only releasing it when night becomes truly quiet. You step toward the doorway. The cup remains on the table, still steaming, as if waiting for someone who will arrive later or maybe earlier, depending on how time behaves here. Outside, the night has deepened, but the darkness is never empty. It holds texture, depth, and layers of shadow that feel alive without being threatening. The air carries a gentle warmth, the kind that makes the body relax without making it drowsy too quickly. The pathway ahead is made of soft earth, cooled by the evening air, and bordered by grass that glimmers faintly with dew. Each step produces almost no sound. It feels as if the island has padded the ground for comfort. The trees close in gradually, not to trap, but to shelter. Their branches stretch out above, creating a canopy that filters the starlight into delicate patterns across the forest floor. Occasional breezes move through the leaves, turning the patterns into slow-moving waves of silver and blue. You walk for a while, though a while is difficult to measure. Nothing on the island encourages you to count minutes. Time feels optional here, a feature rather than a rule. Eventually, the path opens into a wider space. A quiet clearing lies ahead, surrounded by trees that arc gently inward, forming a natural circle. In the center of this clearing stands something unexpected. A stone well, low enough to lean over, wide enough to suggest age and purpose. Carved into its rim are small symbols, rounded and soft-edged, worn by what looks like centuries of weather they've never actually had to endure. The well is dry at the top, but the darkness within holds a faint luminescent shimmer, like light breathing deep underground. You peer in for a moment, expecting perhaps depth, perhaps water, perhaps reflection, and what you see instead is movement. Not fast, not chaotic, slow, rippling movement, like distant clouds drifting across the sky but captured in liquid instead of air. The light inside the well is gentle, layered, and hypnotic. You blink once, slowly. When you look again, the surface has changed. Now it shows the shoreline you walked earlier. The small boat still drifts offshore, though the tide has shifted slightly. Fireflies move in and out of the frame, leaving faint trails of glowing threads that fade gradually like memories dissolving into sleep. You blink again. The image changes once more. This time, it shows the hilltop structure you just left. Warm light spills through its windows. A single cup sits on the table, steaming quietly, waiting for a moment that has already happened and is happening still. The well isn't a well at all. It's a window, a reflection pool not bound to the present moment, not bound to linear time. The island is beginning to reveal its purpose. Here, tiredness does not weaken you, it unlocks you. Thoughts become slower and softer. Breath settles into a rhythm older than worry. And time becomes something flexible, like fabric warmed by the sun. The forest hums faintly around you, a low, consistent vibration that seems to come from roots rather than leaves. It feels like inhaling before sleep. Not the sleep of collapse, but the sleep of permission. As you turn from the clearing, another pathway opens further ahead, lit by soft bioluminescent moss clinging to the stones. It feels like the island guiding you gently toward the next chapter, the next easing, the next letting go, and you follow without rush. The pathway narrows as you follow it deeper into the island's interior. The bioluminescent moss grows brighter as you walk, forming a soft ribbon of glow beneath your feet. It doesn't illuminate the forest in harsh light. It simply outlines the places where you are meant to go, inviting gentle forward movement without any sense of urgency. Above, the canopy thickens. Only narrow threads of starlight make their way through the leaves now, landing in delicate patterns on the ground. Each patch of light vibrates faintly, as though responding to the distant breath of the ocean. The air has cooled just slightly, not cold, not even chilly, just enough to make every exhale visible for a moment before blending into the night. The trees begin to change shape the farther you go. Their trunks twist subtly, forming spirals that reach upward, curling and unfurling like ribbons frozen in motion. They don't seem carved or forced. They seem grown this way, as if the island shaped them with a slow hand over centuries of quiet nights. Eventually, the forest opens into another clearing. This one is wider, almost perfectly circular, with a shallow pond resting at its center. The water is still, so still that it looks like a sheet of glass laid gently into the earth. The bioluminescence from the pathway spreads out across the clearing, outlining the pond in a delicate halo of pale blue-green light. You approach the water, expecting perhaps to see your reflection, or the stars, or the trees behind you. Instead, the surface reflects nothing familiar. It shows a cabin, not the one on the hilltop, but a different one, older, made of darker wood and wrapped in climbing vines. Beneath it, an edge of snow glitters along the ground. A chimney releases a thin trail of smoke that dissolves into a silver winter sky. You blink once. The image holds. This is no mirror. This is memory, but not necessarily your own. A soft breeze moves across the clearing. The water's surface ripples, and the image dissolves into shimmering fragments. When the pond settles again, it shows something else entirely. A small lantern swinging gently from a hook, casting golden light into a cozy room filled with books stacked in quiet, leaning piles. No people, no voices, just the hum of stillness in a space built for thinking, resting, or waiting. The island is not merely a place reached by exhaustion. It is a place constructed from fragments of time. Moments that never rushed, moments that were allowed to linger, moments preserved for those too tired to keep chasing the clock. You sit at the edge of the pond for a while. It's impossible to tell how long. The concept of long feels irrelevant here. The mind relaxes into a slower rhythm, one less interested in measurement and more interested in sensation. When you rise again, the pathway beyond the clearing reveals itself, illuminated by a faint pearlescent glow. The trees here are taller, their leaves thin and translucent, catching the light like stained glass in a cathedral. Each step produces a soft rustling, not from the ground but from the branches overhead, as if the trees themselves are adjusting slightly, making space for you to pass. Further ahead, the sound of distant water begins to emerge. Not waves, something lighter, higher, more delicate. It resembles rainfall at first, then chimes, then something in between. The sound grows clearer as the forest thins, until you arrive at a narrow stream cutting through a shallow ravine. The water glows with a pale silver-blue hue. Thin strands of luminescent algae drift with the current, catching on stones and forming miniature constellations beneath the surface. When you lean closer, you see that each droplet of water carries a tiny spark of light inside it, like a microstar drifting through liquid space. The stream has a single wooden bridge crossing over it, barely wide enough for one person at a time. The railings are smooth, worn by hands you never saw, and the wood feels warmer than the air. As you cross, the water's gentle sound shifts in tone, forming a subtle melody composed of layered droplets. No rhythm, no chorus, just a pattern that feels like listening to thoughts before they become words. On the far side of the stream, the ground rises gradually, forming a slope that leads toward a quiet plateau. The grass here is taller, but soft, bending easily beneath your steps. At the top of the plateau, the trees end abruptly, opening into a breathtaking view of the ocean that brought you here. The shoreline curves in a perfect crescent. The glowing tide rolls in slow motion, each wave carrying silver light that spreads along the sand like threads of silk before pulling back into the sea. The boat from earlier sits anchored offshore, neither drifting away nor drawing closer, as if locked gently to this moment in time. As you stand at the plateau's edge, the night sky deepens. Stars multiply. Their brightness increases slowly, as though they're waking up rather than lighting up. A soft chorus of distant insects hums somewhere behind you, blending into the constant hush of the sea. Then the island does something subtle, something you feel more than see. It waits, not for you to speak, not for you to decide, not for you to act. It waits for you to notice that you are no longer tired in the way you were when you arrived. Not because the island pushes energy into you, but because exhaustion loses its urgency here. Fatigue transforms from something that collapses into something that settles. Time hasn't stopped. It has simply loosened, and the island seems pleased. The plateau stretches gently ahead until it tapers into a narrow peninsula of soft earth and tall grass. A faint path guides you along its spine, curving toward the far end where a small structure rests. Nothing imposing, nothing grand, just a weathered gazebo made of pale driftwood bleached by years of salt and moonlight. Its roof is thatched with reeds, and its open sides invite the breeze to pass through without hurry. You approach, and the wood beneath your hand is smooth, as if countless evenings have worn it down into comfort. Inside, there is a single bench carved from the same driftwood. It faces the ocean, positioned perfectly to watch the glowing waves roll and recede, endlessly patient, endlessly slow. You sit, and the bench shifts slightly under your weight, settling in as if it has been waiting for this for longer than you could possibly measure. From this angle, the island's shoreline becomes a luminous crescent, glowing more brightly now that the stars have fully awakened. The horizon is wide and calm. No ships, no distant lights, just the soft pulse of night. The breeze carries with it the scent of salt and wood smoke, and something else. The faint aroma of night-blooming flowers that grow unseen along the forest's edge. Their fragrance arrives in gentle waves, rising and retreating just like the tide. Nothing asserts itself here. Everything simply exists, quietly, without asking for attention. The sea continues to glow, but its brightness gradually lowers in intensity, dimming to the softest silver blue until it resembles moonlight captured beneath ripples of water. The rhythm of the waves grows slower too, as though the island has recognized that you do not need to be guided anymore, only held. From where you sit, the small boat still rests offshore, anchored in the glowing tide. It doesn't sway and it doesn't drift. It remains perfectly still, like a thought placed gently on a shelf until you are ready to return to it. There is no urgency attached to it, no expectation, only the quiet possibility that it will be there whenever needed. Somewhere behind you, the island's forest hums faintly, not in melody now, but in a low, velvety murmur, the sound of trees breathing together in the darkness. The wind threads through their branches, producing a soft, continuous whisper. It resembles the sensation of someone speaking quietly in another room, a sound understood not by words but by presence. The gazebo itself creaks softly, not from age or tension, but from settling. The wood expands and contracts with the ocean air, creating small rhythmic clicks that join the night's quiet orchestra. Above, the thatched reeds rustle as the breeze moves over them, producing delicate patterns of sound that ebb and fade until they become part of the larger hush. Every so often, the bioluminescent algae at the shoreline glimmer briefly, scattered points of light appearing and dissolving like small thoughts rising out of a dream. The longer you sit, the more the scene dissolves into pure sensation, light, breeze, breath, and rhythm. The island seems to understand that you have arrived at the simplest state of being, present, unmeasured, and unbound. Without rising, you allow your body to soften into the shape of the bench. Shoulders unfurl, hands rest, breath lengthens. The mind drifts toward that gentle threshold where images replace thoughts and impressions replace timelines. Above the ocean, clouds drift in from the far horizon. They move slowly, trailing long, pale shapes behind them. As they pass overhead, they dim the stars for a moment, then reveal them again, creating a quiet flicker of light that mirrors the pulse of the water. The island does nothing to resist. It allows night to rearrange itself as it pleases. Somewhere far along the coastline, a faint bell chimes. Once, then again, then not at all. Its origin is impossible to pinpoint. It could be a buoy, or a distant marker, or simply the wind interacting with something forgotten. Whatever it is, the sound arrives as a gentle note that vanishes almost instantly into the open air. You close your eyes not to block out the island, but to feel it more clearly. With vision softened, the world becomes a tapestry of sensation. The hush of waves, the brush of wind, the faint glow behind closed eyelids, and the steady weight of the bench beneath you. The island does not disappear when unseen. If anything, it becomes more present, more patient. Time, if it exists here at all, has become circular. Moments repeat without becoming repetitive. Waves arrive, depart, and return. Breeze rises, rests, and returns. Breath fills, releases, and returns. Nothing ends. Nothing concludes. Everything continues at the pace of rest. The island's purpose is not to keep you forever. It is simply to hold you for as long as you remain weary. When you are no longer tired enough to need it, the island fades into its own quiet dream, waiting for the next traveler who reaches the threshold of exhaustion where the world's clocks lose meaning. For now, though, it remains. The gazebo holds you, the waves steady you, the forest hums around you, the stars watch without urgency, and the boat drifts somewhere between possibility and sleep. Nothing asks for more than that, and as you rest, the island settles into stillness beside you, breathing in time with the hush of the night, waiting softly, patiently, without measure.